Okay, so for our final call, so I have really enjoyed this mastermind group. I've really enjoyed the people on this mastermind group. I love how many people show up and participate. Something I want you guys to do is I have done, I think, yeah, I'm not very creative, but I feel like I've done a lot of different styles of mastermind. I've done the traditional one person signs up to talk about a topic and everybody listens. I've done where we all talk about a topic. I've done book groups, and this one was a leadership series where hopefully we talk about how we can be better so that our team can be better. For this next round that starts in January, I would love to know what you guys want to do. So if you guys could either message me, email me on our one-on-ones, let me know. I would love to know what benefits you the most when it comes to this mastermind group. If it is, I want to know about best practices, or if I do want to continue leadership, or let's do a book, or whatever that may be. I want to make sure that we talk about the things that you talk about. For me, this has been a lot of fun. Leadership is a very, like I said, I'll say it again and again. It's the one thing that I think everybody can improve on. I think that's how we grow as a business, is by improving ourselves on leadership. And so I saved this last topic for the last week, and the topic is retention, because newsflash, end of the year is coming, and for a lot of people, Beachbody On Demand is coming up as a renewal. And they're going to get an email, if they haven't already received that email, saying, hey, in a couple weeks, your bot is going to be up for renewal. And they're going, wow, man, have I used it? You know, do I have the finances for this? It's the holiday season. And it could be, and if we just let it happen, I'm afraid we may lose a lot of coaches who could simply just renew. And so we have to give them reason. We have to build value. And, you know, and I use the word retention. I think if we retain coaches, it almost sounds like we're just like grasping, like, no, please don't leave. Like, I don't like that sense of retain. I like give them a reason. Let's give them purpose as to why they should stick around. And yes, I'm going to put it on the spot. I want everybody to kind of give their ideas as to what best practices they've heard or have done in the past when it comes to retention. But yesterday, I think it was yesterday, I had a call with Allison. Was it yesterday, Allison? I can't remember. 2 days ago? Who knows? 2 days ago. It's all a blur. We had a great call, and she talked about kind of the things that she's doing to retain her customers and her team in regards to staying on Beachbody On Demand. And so I'm going to kind of put you on the spot, Allison, if you can kind of just tell us what you're doing. I wrote it all down because I thought it was a great idea. So if you could just share with that. We'll have questions, and if you guys want to kind of give your best ideas of what you've seen, what you're doing to help people kind of make 2018 a purposeful, I'm going to stick with my plan and stay on Beachbody On Demand.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what day it is either. It's that time of year, but I think it was 2 days ago. Kevin and I talked about this for like a solid hour, so I'll try to give you the short version of this. I don't want to take up everybody's time. But the short version is probably in October I started thinking about this, right? Knowing that December was coming and I was going to have people who would get, or I'd hope they would get an email warning. I wasn't even sure if they were going to get a warning about it or if I just needed to go hunt these people down. But I needed to come up with a plan to, I don't even want to say convince, to get them to, see the value in what BOD has to offer. Because I think it doesn't matter where we're at in this business, one more extra bill this time of year can throw anybody for a loop if they aren't expecting it. And it's quick for people to impulse cut things. And I just didn't want that to be an option. I just didn't even want it to be something that they would consider getting rid of. So my approach to this initially was to, I know Kevin and I talked about this as coaches. So often we say, or we tell our downline, speak to the old you when you post. And I said to Kevin, I think the phrase I used was, I don't always do that because the old me would have never had the guts to respond to somebody's fitness post. I was too busy hiding. So a lot of times I tell my team, speak to us noisy ones, right? The other coaches, the people that are doing it, because that's what brings attraction. So I put it out there on Facebook. give me your top 3 favorite workouts on BOD, and not just the program, but like the actual workout. So for me, I love CVX from P90X3, but to a lot of people, that's an old workout. You know, there's a lot of people who haven't done that. That was my very first workout when I started almost 4 years ago. So I put my top 3, and the comments just blew up with tons of coaches, It was an easy question to answer, and people wanted to share their favorites. What was really cool about that is a lot of them weren't just the standard programs. So many of them were what I like to call like the bonus features, right? Like a week of hard labor, Sean week, those things that kind of like pop in there as a treat to people and are sometimes overlooked. So from that post, I sat down with my business partner, who is a star diamond in my downline, and it was crazy. I had those big giant Post-it notes here, and we were on Zoom, and she was going through my posts, like shouting things out, and I was just making huge lists of them. And as something was repeated, I was just putting like hash marks next to it until we had my office walls filled with all these responses. And I had my team do it too. So we had a lot of theirs. We would go to, I'd say, go to somebody else's page and, check that out or whatever, see what responses they got. And from that, we sat down and we built a BOD mashup, or sometimes we called it a BOD buffet calendar for a 4-week challenge group. And my goal behind that was to make everyone, my team included, have a taste of everything. Because even almost 4 years into this business, there's still stuff on BOD. There's still programs that I've never touched, or I've done one of the workouts, or, I just never really dug into it. I told Kevin, it took me forever to get into Sagi. And then the first time I did one of his programs, I was like laughing hysterically. I'm like, this dude is kind of funny. Like, why was I avoiding him? So we did some things we considered. And obviously we were using my target audience input on this, but if you're going to go ahead and do this, some things we considered was, I obviously balanced the schedule to be a cardio day, a strength day, a cardio day, a strength day, a cardio day, a strength day. The weekends for Sunday, we let them pick like a yoga or stretch or, something like shift mobility or, those kind of down days that are built into tons of programs. And also Monday through Friday, I did my best to keep it 35 minutes or less. I also tried to balance so that however many trainers we have, like it wasn't heavy on one person. So it'd be like, we need an Autumn day, we need a Tony day, we need a Shalene day, we need a Chris day, we need and going through so that they had a taste of everyone. And then, we sat down and we opened this group. The other thing we did was, it was a 4-week group. So myself and 3 of my leaders were the only people I gave that calendar to. So none of the challengers knew what was coming. None of the coaches in my downline knew what was coming. Everyone was excited. And what I had them do is we went in and we scheduled our posts for 2 a.m. to release. So people would get up in the morning and they got into the app and there it was, a post saying, here's your workout for today. This is the program. This is the trainer. This is the time. And here's the equipment you need. If you don't have the equipment, don't stress. Do your best, And it just really, I can't even explain the energy it brought. People were excited. I am such a type A, like have to have everything planned. I would have lost my mind. I knew the calendar because I made the calendar, but there are people like me that were like, I can't even believe I don't know it's coming tomorrow. And I'm just trusting you to tell me. And, they did it because they had no other choice. That's what we put out there. I had everyone on Portion Fix. So everyone followed the containers and the Portion Fix meal plan. I went through the book in a preseason with them. And the other piece was that and if I'm rushing or if I'm missing something that we talked about that you want me to share, let me know. The other piece was I love the app. I almost strictly use the app. I hardly run any of my groups on Facebook anymore. The thing I don't love about the app is I feel like it doesn't always foster engagement. It gives people an excuse to come and hit their button, share their selfie and tap out without actually engaging with anybody else. And part of what makes our job successful is when we can foster that community feeling, right? So it sounds so simple and silly, but one of the things that I did was I gave them a bonus activity every day that they could get bonus points for. And they had to keep track and they had to put it right in the comments. So each day my post would look like this, here is today's workout, here is the program, so they knew how to search it. Here is the trainer, here is the time limit, here is your equipment, because you can find all that as soon as you click on BOD, it says it like right there. So I just went through and like wrote them all down real quick. And then for today's bonus activity, share in the comments. And it was simple things like, do you schedule your workout morning, afternoon, night? Why? Right? It was just something to get them talking. And I went through, after we talked, Kevin, to look at day 1 in my challenge tracker app. And I don't host like huge groups. I mean, this might have had 150 people in it, but typically, if I'm being honest, in a regular group before this on the tracker app, if I made a post, they would all post their own things, but like actually responding to my post, I might get 10 comments. The first day I had 114 comments, and they stayed above 50 comments for pretty much the duration of the group. So what I did was I just told them, track your points, keep track. If you did today's activity, it might be, post your shake recipe in the comments, share a picture of your meal plan. I love to do on Sunday nights, set out your clothes for Monday morning and take a bit, you know what I mean? Just stuff like that. Very simple things, but it just got them talking and forming relationships with each other. And I told them that whoever had the most points in the end got the prize box, which was literally just a pile of stuff that we all have laying around in our house. Let's be honest, packets of Shakeology, packets of Daily Sunshine. I had the Shift Shop stickers that I swiped at Summit, or the green bands that, like just a bunch of random stuff that they were super excited about, that, things you buy in the Black Friday sales, right? The wrist weights or whatever, weighted gloves, you just put a box together and send it out. Also every Sunday I would do a points check-in, and I just told them, like, just let me know where you're at in points. Sorry, my phone's blowing up here. Let me know where you're at in points. And as I didn't pick like the highest person, it was just, as long as you're tracking your points, I'm going to draw a name for a winner, and I'd send that person like 2 packs Energize or whatever. So each week I was kind of getting an idea of where they were at, on the weekend. But that was basically the gist of it. My goal initially, I told Kevin, was my hope was that after doing 4 weeks of a little bit of everything, that they would find that they had fallen in love with a lot of programs that they never really knew anything about. And I was saying that, as coaches, we can almost map our whole year out, right? You guys are probably sitting there going, I'm doing 80-day obsession until April. I know they're going to release something at Summit. At Leadership, they're going to say this, we can map out our whole year, but our challengers can't, right? They don't know that unless we kind of help them do that. And that's what I wanted. I wanted them to do 4 weeks and say, oh my God, like I never thought I would like Core to Force, but I want to do that. I want to do 60 days of that. And when I'm done with that, I want to do 60 days of Chalene Extreme or 90 days of P90X3, these things that they had never thought, so that not only did I keep them on BOD, but I gave them something to do for the next 3, 6, 9 months, right? And what ended up happening is they were so in love with it, they asked for our December group to do that as well. So we had to scramble as a team to come up with a whole new calendar again. And, based on some of the things and the feedback that they gave us, the things that they liked. But that is the condensed version of what I did for them. But I mean, it's been a blast. The excitement's been high. The engagement has been high, which is everything to me. I told Kevin what I saw a lot of. This has been an interesting year, at least for my business. And what I saw was a lot of my coaches that have kind of flatlined go back to being challengers. And I really think they needed that. I really think they needed to kind of find themselves again so that they can come into 2018 being the coach that I know they want to be. So it's kind of been nice seeing that too, just seeing them sort of find the fire in themselves again to be able to kind of pay it forward with their business.
It's perfect.
Is that what you wanted?
For being on the spot, that was perfect. Thank you so much. I want to allow time for questions. If you guys have thoughts or questions for Allison in regards to this, anybody want to chime in?
I have a question. It might seem kind of silly, but so you did this back in like October, November, or you're currently doing this right now?
I put the post out and built the calendar in October, and it was November's challenge group. We did it for the 4 weeks in November, and we simply called it November to Remember because that was our theme. And then they asked for it again in December. So at the end of November, we frantically had to do the same thing all over again. Give me your top 3 workouts or your top 3 trainers or whatever. And then we tried to build another calendar based on what they wanted, what they were enjoying. And that's what we're running now.
Okay. And that like helped keep all the people that you think are like renewing right now, keep them going.
Yep. I actually looked in today's pay to see, and I could see like a lot of discount coaches and stuff that were showing up with their orders, coming in for the next year that they had kept them. So.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Did you do any like results tracking or consistent measuring, like weighing in? Because my only worry with mashups or with new people in BOD is that they don't ever do a program then. I love that you said that it makes them want to do a program, but did you like track that to kind of mentally prep them like you're going to pick a program eventually?
Every 10 days, they had to update their measurements in the app and share that. So, day 0, day 10, day 20, and then day 28/30, we called it. But they did track their measurements and everything. And I worried about the same thing too, because I'm a do the program and do it as it's intended kind of person. But I feel like I had to go out on a limb with this because otherwise I was afraid I was going to lose. A lot of people are intimidated by a 60-day or a 90-day program. We've got so many great 21-day programs. Why would you bite the bullet on the 90-day one, So that's kind of how we handled that. They checked in with those, and they'd kind of screenshot and, share that or whatever. But that was definitely a concern of mine. It's one of those things that you kind of got to try and cross your fingers. They did have great results. I mean, really great results. I told Kevin, it was actually a grandmother in her 60s who had the most points. She did incredible and basically modified the entire month. So we did, Fridays were Fun Friday. I didn't mention that. So it was either always like a dance day, or because Double Time was released, sometimes we called it Friend Friday, and they had to find a partner, which was then a way that they could earn bonus points if they brought somebody in and chose to do Double Time instead. But otherwise, it was Fun Friday, so they were either doing size or country heat or UV2, just something crazy like that. And it was funny because some of the guys were like, Allison, I'm not. I was like, but you are. You're going to go ahead and do that. It was just fun. I was like, if the girls are going to try Body Beast, you're going to go ahead and dance it out today.
Any other questions, guys?
I have a question. So is there a way to see like when people are up for renewal so that you can talk to them before? Or do you just run a report for like who bought last year each month? Or
I got an email. Did you guys get an email?
We send it out the third week of every month is when we send that out. And it is just an email. Unfortunately, it's not a report you can run in the back office, at least to my knowledge, unless you guys know how. But it is simply an email.
Oh, I thought that email was just for like who was on it that doesn't have Shakeology. I don't know why I thought.
There is that one, but I recently got another one. Let me see if I can find it that said everybody, and it wasn't just, it was literally like December, January. It was a couple months. Like, here's everyone who's up for renewal in like the next 90 days.
Okay.
Like that, right?
I'll check that.
Yeah. We get so many emails. I have,
There it is.
Yep.
Okay, so I want to make sure that we throw out some other ideas because and this is something that I think I've talked to most of you about is retention for me also includes Shakeology. And in fact, I'll give you a little sneak peek. Just this last week, Carl and John sent out an internal video to the entire company that talked about what happened in 2017, the good, bad, the ugly, and what we're going into in 2018. And one of the things that just made me super excited, and I hope I'm okay to say this. If you call this out, you heard it from somebody else. But we are hiring or hired, or one of the two, a third-party company to help us better market Shakeology. I think, we as coaches, it is the funniest thing, because that's what pays the bill is Shakeology. If you haven't figured out that yet, that's it. What pays the bill every single month is Shakeology. And when I hear some of the coaches talk about what Shakeology, like why Shakeology is a good thing, we are way out in left field. Some people, they cross the border of what we can't say medically, and some people don't give it enough credit. They compare it to the wrong products because it's not even comparable. To not to discredit anything that what we have put out so far, but John and Carl are finally realizing that if we're going to retain people, we've got to talk about Shakeology in a better way that helps people understand how amazing this product is. So you're going to see a renewed emphasis, strong emphasis on Shakeology, which makes me so happy, because like the company I worked for before, they came out with this document, 101 things you can say about X and X product. We need that kind of stuff, because that's what is going to help people understand what it does. And the biggest thing, I think, the biggest thing you can tell people is your own story. So making sure that whatever you do with your customers and coaches in 2018, make sure they have a story to tell. The power of storytelling is you can't match it. You can all the scientific facts you can put out there, but what it does for me is this. That's what's going to convince me the most. And so make sure that coaches not only talk about the fun, sexy things of the workouts, but how amazing Shakeology, what it does for them individually. And that's what's going to sell people, and that's what's going to keep people on month after month after month. There's ways to do about it. So I want to hear a couple more ideas on your efforts with retention, whether that be with Shakeology, whether that be with workouts, whether that be with your customers, coaches. Annalisa, you raise your hand. Let's have you.
Yeah, I hope it's not too loud here. I'm in Starbucks and it got really loud a minute ago. But anyway, so we as a team are really super excited about our retention plan for 2018. We've created what I'm going to call a movement called the 25th Hour. And what it is, it's a free Facebook community. And we're inviting everybody to get involved in this community, and they're going to have access to wellness tips, motivation tips, time management tips. And as a team, we've actually hired a nutritionist, an expert in time management, a women's empowering mentor, to come in and be a part of this page, and really invest in it. And they drink Shakeology too, so they're going to be talking about the value of Shakeology through their research and things like that. And the retention plan comes in because people are going to be getting a weekly meal plan dropped into their email every single week that they're on Shakeology HD. So, or Daily Sunshine, or Performance Line, or that's it, I think, Daily Sunshine, Shakeology, or Performance Line. And they're getting grocery lists and meal plans that will fit, most of our programs, just sent to them as like here's the next week, here you go, and Shakeology is going to be incorporated in those meal plans. So hopefully the goal is for this community to kind of just unfold with people talking and tips and tricks, and we've got a whole bunch of coaches in there with those professionals involved, and then the energy hopefully will stay up in this group, and people are going to be talking about Shakeology, the value, and keeping people on, because they're literally getting a written out meal plan and grocery lists every month on a weekly basis, as long as they're on Shakeology HD, and that's all it. They get that, they pay for that, and they've got a really fine-tuned plan as well. So that's the big thing. It's a really big undertaking. I'm not doing this alone. It's actually my start. My upline is Elizabeth Hartkey, and so it's our entire downline, calling it the difference makers. The community is the 25th Hour, so we all launched on the same exact day, same time. So if you search Instagram right now for 25th Hour, you're going to see our entire team just promoting this free community. And so that's the goal. Let's get everyone involved. Let's build relationships in there, and then celebrate them for sticking to Shakeology.
I've heard about this before, and I know Liz is doing this. What I love about this, guys, and they did. I think you all posted your 25th hour story at the exact same time and like flooded Instagram and Facebook. It was what I love about this is it's new, it's innovative. If you want to retain people, doing things the same boring way is not how you're going to retain people. You have to come up with something new and fresh. And a lot of times coaches think, well, I'll just come up with a new challenge group, a new theme. That will work for so long, but eventually you need to come up with something that really speaks to your audience in a way that it never has before. And I love this 25th hour movement because that's it. This group is targeting moms, women who don't have time. That's the number one, they say, you know, if I understand right, that's the number one objection you guys receive as coaches is, well, I don't have time to do this. I'm sorry. So let's tackle this head on. Let's make a 25th hour. In a 24-hour day, let's make a 25th hour. And maybe a little extreme in hiring a nutritionist and hiring a doctor and all that kind of stuff. That may be extreme, but you can take that same idea and make it your own. And if you don't have any support whatsoever, you can still do this. And you don't have to have this 600 plus coach downline for this to work. This can be something that you can do by yourself by being innovative. Retention is strongly enhanced by keeping things fresh and exciting. And that's one of the things that we continually need to do. That's why I stress over and over and over, and there's a few coaches on here who understand this, the importance of having a success partner, having a business partner, having somebody just to bounce ideas off of. Because if you're doing this by yourself, you're creative, but you're going to run out of creative juices. It's better to brainstorm and have these ideas. Great idea, Annalise. I have heard about that. I think that's a phenomenal thing. It's retention on purpose. And I love that. I mean, all those coaches who are now up for BOD renewal, now they have a reason to stick around. Now they're excited to do it again. Just like Allison said with her group, it's no more just like, yeah, I guess I'll do. I don't know. It's 99. That's kind of a lot. No, I really want to try Chalene Extreme. I've never tried that before, but I love what I did with my first try. I'm going to do it with Chalene Extreme, and now I have a reason to stick around and be retained through 2018. Love that idea. I didn't allow for any questions for Annalisa or additional thoughts you guys may have on that. No. Okay. Does anybody else have maybe one other retention idea that you guys have? Casey, did you raise your hand?
Man, I don't know if I can follow up the last two. Those are awesome ideas. Mine is on like a much smaller scale, but it might be something a little bit easier to implement right away. I started doing these like where are they now spotlights. I know a lot of people do like challenger spotlights, but I highlight people who have been with me, you know, for one group, two groups, three groups, and a lot of those people end up turning into coaches. And they get a little bit nervous sharing that progress. And so it takes a few months for them to want to put it out on social media. But I've had a lot of success with that, with retaining those people because it feels good. They see all this love that they're getting, and it really kind of lifts them up. But it opens it up to everyone on their social media too. Like, wow, Janice has stuck with this now for a year. Okay, now I think I'm ready to do this. So that's something that I've been doing. And then just adding something as simple to like check-ins to my business activity tracker, because I treat my check-ins just like invites. My check-ins aren't new people, but they're people who I have who I'm just like constantly checking in with and constantly, let's talk about new goals. Okay, it's a new month. What are you interested in now? You know, what do you want to kind of tweak? How do you want to challenge yourself? And just like spending 10, 15 minutes doing that has just really kept those conversations going. So when that new group comes around, like 80-day obsession, my God, I feel like I haven't slept in days. But like all of these people are like, holy cow, yes, I'm ready to challenge myself. And I don't think if I had been checking in with them consistently, just saying hi sometimes, that wouldn't have happened, because I would have been coming out of the woodwork with, you know, a shiny new object. Do you want to do this? But because I've been talking to them now, it was a really smooth transition.
I love that. I love that you've kept the relationships alive. That's a huge point of retention. If you think that I'll say this, if you haven't talked to some of these people since January of last year, and then you come in and try to be their best friend again, it's going to come across as kind of salesy. We kind of missed the boat. And so to Casey's point here is keep those relationships alive. Retention is not transactional. Retention very much is relationship based. And so as tough as it is in June to keep those relationships alive that you started in January, it's going to pay off in the end, because you're going to have that relationship where you can go to them and talk openly and honestly about what's coming up, what's happening in 2018, rather than, hi, you haven't seen me, hope you're okay to spend $99 again. That's just, it doesn't come across as well. And so great ideas, guys. I do want to keep this short because I know it's the holiday season. I'm thrilled this many people jumped on yesterday. It was kind of a flop. Didn't have anybody show up to my mastermind call. It must be Wednesday. But this group does show up. I really appreciate that. Any final thoughts or questions you guys may have when it comes to this group? No. Okay, so as I mentioned at the beginning of the call, for those who jumped on a little bit late, I'm going to eventually dissolve this group, but I'm going to have one more call. We're going to go over the new elite qualifications for this upcoming year. Stay tuned for when that will happen. Get on it, whether you are or are not going for elite. There are good things that you can learn from it. And then I'm going to revamp this. I would love your input on what you want to see happen with mastermind groups. From here on out for you. I want to keep these fresh. I want to keep these applicable to you and where you are at. I love, this group has been phenomenal. I really, I kind of feel bad dissolving this group because you guys are so good. But then I'll come out with new days, new times, and then we'll move on with the new year. But thank you so much for jumping on, guys. This has been a wonderful series on leadership. I hope you've learned something when it comes to leadership. I hope there's areas you see improvement on. Because that's the whole goal. We're going to make 2018 a killer year. I'm so excited to jump on this train with you and ride it all the way to the end. We will see you guys a little bit later, but thank you for jumping on. We'll catch you next time. Thanks.